Allan Mulligan, Chief Operating Officer, Walkabout Resources.
Good morning, delegates. And it's good once again to thank Bill and the Paydirt team for putting on this opportunity. Today we're going to briefly discuss the Walkabout corporate angle, the Lindi Jumbo project, and then the market and our ESG approach and working in Tanzania. This is much less of a technical presentation. It's very focused around working in Africa. Just a quick snapshot of our of Walkabout. We have no debt in the ASX listed corporate. It sits in Lindi Jumbo, and the assets are securing that. And we have a new structured board who are directed to grow the company rapidly and properly. What do we do? So we're ASX listed, as I just said, and we don't operate in Australia, we operate in Africa, and we also have licenses in the United Kingdom. Our flagship project is Lindi Jumbo, and it's currently in construction. It's a graphite project in Tanzania. It's fully funded to development from a loan by a Tanzanian bank, the CRDB Bank. We're very proud of that, and I'll speak about that a little bit more. And Walkabout has committed $12 million US in equity towards the project as well. The graphite market, we firmly believe graphite is still the ugly duckling of the strategic minerals portfolio, with nickel and lithium stealing all the glory. That will change. The market is looking very robust, and the international political tensions that are emerging will certainly open up opportunities for non-China supply around the world. And we operate in Tanzania, which just 3 years ago was a no-go minerals destination. Well, that's all changed, and we're very happy that we stuck it out with Lindi and with the huge transformation that the Tanzanian mining industry and ministry have gone through. It's a good destination for mineral exploration and development now, and they are serious about building back better. Our immediate strategic objective is to bring the remarkable Lindi Jumbo deposit to account and produce quality, low-cost product, concentrate product, and enhance the wealth for all stakeholders. Looking at the market, this graphic aligns the Lindi Jumbo project with its markets and the times we are operating in. These 5 elements drive the marketing process and the international trend to embrace and facilitate market supply chains. The investor groups determine that we have to align both the supply and demand to their objectives list as well. So the electrification of transport is a given. That's going to drive demand in all strategic minerals that are used in it. Tanzania is an emerging player and has the opportunity, or the capacity, in fact, to become the second biggest graphite producer into world markets outside of China. The lithium battery will always require graphite, and the more that we can produce quality graphite at a lower cost for it, the more it will be used in their application. Higher spec applications are finding their way into new emerging technologies, both in graphene and in expandable graphite, and we're finding a push for those in the supply chain as well. And of course, the market preference is for material that's been ethically and responsibly sourced. So pricing is steady, and for quality product, a good margin can be made. We're forecasting about a 2 to 2.5 times cost ratio on revenue. One needs to keep the working cost and the yield losses down and ensure that your products meet the minimum grade and size specs for the markets. You can see the remarkable growth forecast in the battery cycle of graphite, the battery use. If that comes about, what's going to happen is it's going to draw product from all the other applications, all the other industrial applications in the world, and push up the price generally. Expandable graphite, which is a large portion of our product mix, is also going to grow around 100% over the next 10 years. And that in itself is certainly a good prospect to be working into. So looking at Lindi Jumbo, the investment drivers supporting the construction of Lindi Jumbo are listed here. All these boxes have been ticked. The independent project manager who will assess the loan payout against actual performance has been appointed by the bank, and we have mobilized the first contractors to site. The bank accounts are all active. Funds come from Australia and from Tanzania into Tanzania, and no matter where we are spending money around the world on the project, the money goes out of Tanzania and is recorded there. There is no direct Australia contractor payments. Lindi Jumbo has an extraordinary endowment of graphite ore in the deposit. The ability to mine for 24 years, pulling a ratio of nearly 20% of your final product out of the ground, has a profound impact on the economics. For every ton of graphite that we sell, we'll mine and process only 6 tons of ore. The average for graphite mines in China is to mine and process about 16 to 20 tons of ore per ton of saleable graphite. This is a very good deposit, and we are entering the market at exactly the right time. Of course, for us, the main enabler has been the signing of the $20 million debt facility by the CRDB Bank, the Country and Regional Development Bank of Tanzania. It's it's listed on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange. Government is a passive shareholder, minority passive shareholder. This is a very constructive and progressive bank. The people there are excited to be working with us, and we're enjoying a very good relationship. I won't go into a lot of detail on this slide. It's a reference, but you'll often hear me speak about the need for strong technical criteria supporting mining projects. There are pillars, fundamental technical needs that bring projects together. As Tim was saying earlier, they certainly had that when they started in Kenya. If one pillar of those 4 is weak or absent, the whole project becomes wobbly, and we have to try again and again and again to get it funded and to get it supported. These are the pillars of the Lindi Jumbo project. And finally, on that subject, the best expansions are carried out from a base of stability and profitability, not on paper in engineering rooms. Okay? We need a robust market boom. The best expansion is organic expansion. And since assets are generally overpriced at that time, you must try and do it from what you're operating with and build on the successes you have. Walkabout and Lindi have huge expansion potential, both in the plant, which we've planned to allow and accommodate that, and in the exploration and endowment of our ore bodies. Now, quickly onto our ESG. Currently, investor stakeholders are becoming much more discerning regarding mining company attitudes to ESG, environmental, social, and governance obligations. And these are admirable. However, these targets should be prioritized according, in our view, to the socio-economic development status of the macro environment you're working in. That means in developing economies, not developed economies. In developing economies, the creation of wealth and reduction of poverty is far more important than just meeting on-site or in-country decarbonization standards. Most of these economies are not excessive in their carbon footprints anyway because they're not industrialized. This is not a license to ignore or damage the environment. Basic standards must still be maintained, but the focused effort should be given to the contribution to growth, the needs of local populations, and the sustainable emergence of improved sanitation, water access, good education, and well-paying jobs. At Lindi, we operate on the highest standards of engagement and integration with the local stakeholders and their institutions. This is not an effort. It comes easy because it's the right thing to do. I wish to tell you a story that rocked me. In 2017, we decided to appoint on a full-time basis one of the semi-skilled gentleman who lives in the village where our site is. He'd been assisting us during the drilling campaign, and we wanted to appoint him as a supervisor. We put a job offer together and had it delivered to him. His name is Muhammad Habib. He's a senior in the village. About an hour later, I received a phone call, and it was Muhammad. He was crying like a baby. I asked him, "What's wrong, Muhammad? Why are you crying?" His answer was that he had never previously had a formal job, and he had never had a job offer. He was 55 years of age. So that struck us as part of this issue. When you look at entrenched poverty in rural Tanzania, you note that it is endemic and self-sustaining. And it's like this in a lot of developing economies. It relates to a lack of enabling infrastructure and education. English is not taught at the primary schools in the rural areas. So when young people leave school, they're generally not employable in the urban areas because they're not able to enter service economies, service level jobs. They remain homebound, stranded near the subsistence crop. This is one of the areas we need to change. Our view is that it's the role of primary development entities such as exploration companies, mining companies, agriculture, and NGOs to facilitate the pathways for emergence from poverty into skills-based employment. And this is the concept we embrace of local first. A deep understanding is necessary for working in Africa as a foreign national, and if you're from developed economies, even more so. African communities don't need patronizing. They don't need handouts. They just need the respect that goes with doing things properly, not taking advantage of their endowments, and also following through with what was said previously. Even if the prospect or the deposit is not economic, be upfront and clarify that before disappearing for good, leaving a state of confusion and mistrust behind, which affects the entire industry following. Working in Tanzania, Tanzania has copped its fair share of criticism in the past few years, much of that because the government did not consult with its foreign direct investment groups when it unilaterally changed the rules in 2017. But it has worked hard at correcting that, and they are succeeding. There are some large projects being undertaken by government. They're all enabling projects. They will all allow a period of rapid growth to ensure. We have a very constructive relationship with our local groups, government and media in Tanzania. This has taken a lot of work, but most importantly, it's come from a desire to make the Lindi Jumbo company Tanzanian and not an offshoot from Australia. This subtle change of mindset has been the key to integrating the company and its objectives with the aspirations of government and the people. So finally, a site visit last week by the Prime Minister of Tanzania, Honourable Kassim Majaliwa. He expressed his appreciation of the efforts of Lindi Jumbo in setting advanced implementation to local policy, localization policy. There were only Tanzanians at this visit and meeting. Our local team is very experienced. We're very proud of them. We have a director, a Tanzanian lady director, who is now well known in the government circles and can pick up the phone at any time and call a meeting. So this endorsement by the PM and the funding from CRDB Bank has been the single most rewarding business milestones we have reached to date. Watch out for Lindi Jumbo. The elephant is coming. Thank you.